Welcome back everybody. In today's video, we are going to be ranking War Thunder's event vehicles on a tier list from S tier to F tier. Now keep in mind in this video, we are only going to be ranking the jets, and also we will be ranking the planes based on their own performance at their respective battle ratings. Now, before I get into this video, I just want to say I have a Discord server, link in the description below, so feel free to join and hang out. Anyways, let's get into the video. Starting off with their first plane, it is going to be the Jaguar IS. Now this plane is pretty interesting. It has a very strong loadout, 2 Magic 2s, which are very good missiles. They pull very hard, and they have very good flare resistancy as well as acceleration. Now the plane itself is mid. The Jaguar, or Jaguars in general, just aren't that powerful. Now, I'm not going to go into super detail, but essentially, they bleed quite a bit of speed, and yes, they have good AOA and good turn, which is maneuverability, but the engines are also very weak. The Jaguar engines right now are not very strong, acceleration not very good, top speed not very good, but here's the thing, the matchmaker. You are at 11.3 and you have 2 Magic 2s. Your flight model, while being pretty mid, is not the worst, and I do think a plane like this at 11.3 is very lethal with your Magic 2s. So I think I'm going to give it probably a low A tier, but just don't rely on your flight model to win many fights, especially when it goes prolonged. Okay, our next plane is going to be the F-14A IRIAF, and this is a very much hated plane in War Thunder because of one reason, or one missile I should say. The Kfir 90. Now the F-14A IRIAF has a pretty decent flight model. Now F-14s have kind of been a little bit overshadowed by the new planes, which is understandable, but still, this is one of the best rate fighters in the game. Very good 1v1, and in my personal opinion, swing wings are really easy to use in a 1v1 and very beginner friendly as well. This plane is pretty big, it's pretty hot, but at the end of the day, you have 8 missiles. You have the Kfir 90, which is a really good long-range missile, has insane acceleration, and very good top speed. So I think a plane like this definitely is worth S tier, with the pretty good flight model and the very deadly missiles. Okay, our next plane is going to be the Kfir C.10, and interesting enough, this plane is a 13.0. It has 4 Fox 3s, which are the derbies. And I'll be honest with you guys right now, top tier, only 4 Fox 3s is a big no-no. The thing is, you are at 13.0, so a lot of the times you will see other down tier planes, and at that point, your Fox 3s will be around enough. The problem is, up tiers, you're going to have a lot of trouble. The Kfir has a very strong flight model, very good engine, and overall, some of the best delta wings in the game. Only problem would be, yes, you're not having that many missiles, and up tiers are going to be kind of rough for you to deal with. Derbies, they're some of the worst missiles in the game, so I think a plane like this is pretty decent. I'm going to give it an A tier. However, I feel like a plane as a Kfir with only 4 derbies just cannot be that good, so no S tier. Our next plane is going to be the IRR-93B. This plane is pretty average. It's more of a jack-of-all-trades plane. Now, it doesn't really struggle at too many things. It does compress quite a bit at high speeds. You have 2 AIM-1Bs. Your guns are okay. It also has some very powerful flaps. Now, your flaps are very strong, and they can make you very UFO, or just give you a really good turn rate. The problem is, you bleed all your speed, and this plane already has some okay retention, not the best, especially when you're around 650 to 800 kilometers an hour. You will definitely see pretty decent maneuverability, but a lot of speed bleed. So, pretty mid plane. I'm probably going to give it a B tier, as I feel like 9.0 is a pretty high BR for a plane like this. We have the F2 Sabre 8.7, and also the MiG-17. Now, our next plane is going to be the F-111F and 9.0, and a lot of people don't really know too much about this plane. Essentially, it has 4 AIM-9Bs, a pretty decent gun with good amount of ammo, and also is very fast for a 9.0 plane. You have an afterburner, so very good acceleration as well. Here's the thing though, this plane in flight performance is just average. It's not the most maneuverable, it retains energy a lot though. So this thing is kind of like a cross between the Hunter FJ9 and the A4B. The thing is, it's just pretty difficult to kill people with the guns if they're paying attention, so a lot of the times you will have to find people going slow to kill them. But anyways, it's still a pretty strong plane, it's pretty strong and really good. Thing is, it's pretty rare and it is unique, so it is really cool, but at the end of the day, this plane is not that great in flight performance, but definitely has a very strong engine. I think it's going to be worth a B tier, because it is simply just a lot better than the IAR-93B. At 9.0, you have a much faster acceleration, and you have much more potential to kill people, but overall, still, this plane isn't that great. Here's the thing though, the F-111F and the IAR-93 are very unique. These planes are not copy and paste, which is something that we will see a lot in this tier list. Our next plane is the F5AG, and I just talked about copy and paste. Here it is. This plane is not anything special. It's literally just an F5C with 2 MNLs, and we give it a BR of 11.0. I mean, if you're going to talk about the flight performance, it's pretty straightforward. The F5s are very good when it comes to maneuverability. They retain energy very well around Mach 0.9. You literally don't lose speed. Your gun's very easy to aim, a lot of rounds, and overall just a very strong, nimble plane. Very good in a 1v1, very good in a 1vx situation. Thing is, you are pretty slow, engine's not that powerful, and when a fight goes prolonged, you are bound to lose because this plane in a prolonged fight is not that great, simply because engine power is very much necessary in these fights. Missiles, 2 MNLs is more than enough at 11.0, and I do think you're going to find a lot of success in this plane, but at the end of the day, it's just another F5, it's nothing too special. Yes, I'm going to put it in S tier because it's just really good in flight performance, but honestly, we're just sick of F5s. Maybe around 2 years ago, we had the F5A, we had the F5C and the F5E, 3 F5s. Now there's like around, 7? So it's really just another copy and paste plane. Next plane is the MiG-21 PFM. You are at 9.3, you have no flares, you can carry R3Ss, but no R3Rs, and this thing is just literally a worse MiG-21S in flight model as well. So pretty mid. Only redeeming factor is you are at 9.3, so your flight performance is less of an issue, as things at 9.3, especially in down tiers, do struggle against this plane as you have a huge energy advantage. But I still think this plane is not going to be that fun to fly, and honestly probably a B tier as it is one of the worst MiG-21 flight models in the game right now. Alright, next one is the A7K, and if I do sound very dead, it is because I am sick right now. Hopefully I will get better soon. Alright, the A7K, well, this plane is not very fun to fly. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to turn this thing into an event vehicle, but it essentially has 2 MNLs and is an A7. Now, A7s kind of suck. They don't have it very good at top speed, no afterburner. Gun pod, though, is very strong. You have good guns, but that's basically it. Overall, this plane is a very easy kill. It's way too slow, and you're not going to get much out of it. 11.3, this thing is higher BR than an F5A. Yeah, no, it's going to D tier, guys. Not too much to say about this plane. Next plane is the F5A, and this is a pretty old event vehicle, and if you want to know anything about it, it's the exact same as the F5C. So essentially, you have the very good nimble flight performance and high-speed retention, but you have, the weaker engine and also the low top speed. Still very good plane, but yeah, F5s. This was a very cool plane back then when it got released, but nowadays it's actually quite rare and just still not very special. I'm still gonna put it probably in S tier, but yeah, at the end of the day, this plane is just another F5. Our next plane is the F4D, and this is our third unique plane on the tier list behind the F111F and the IRI-93B. Now, the F4D is pretty interesting. This plane used to have a huge problem with ripping its wings off. Luckily, though, there has been a fix that has affected this plane and the FAU, so it is a lot more difficult to rip them off, so very much appreciated. This plane at 9.0 is pretty similar to the F111F in speed. They are not really similar in flight performance at all, but yeah, they both have afterburner and a pretty strong engine for a 9.0 plane. You have an afterburner and you are faster than most things, along with your amazing acceleration, obviously. This plane is just a massive wing, essentially. It has some pretty decent guns and damage. You don't get the most rounds, but you definitely can kill a lot of people. You just gotta be very trigger patient, so that's a little bit difficult to work with. You have 4 AMNBs, which are more than enough to get killed, especially at 9.0. A lot of people are not paying attention. Your flight performance is pretty decent, you'll obviously turn very well, but once again, you will suffer a bit. In my personal opinion, this plane is not the greatest, obviously, but still very good. And really, when it comes to event vehicles, they don't have to be the most insane broken plane you've ever flown. They just gotta be something unique and fun to fly. And I think the F4D is a very good plane that captures the event vehicle, spirit. And really, this is what I really want to look forward to in event vehicles, not an A7K or an F5 or, another F14 that they're gonna sell. So I'm gonna put this plane probably in A tier. However, this is really just a plane that is very good for an event vehicle, as it is unique and it is also not too bad and pretty good. Our next plane is going to be another copy and paste, relatively, the SC-25BM. Now, obviously it's not a complete copy and paste, but still, it's just an SU-25. This plane has R-73s at 11.0. You get 2 of them, but then again, you're an SU-25. And if you launch your R-73s properly, you might get 2 kills a game, but still, R-73s are not that good when it comes to long-range shots, and when you're slow like an SU-25, long-range shots are going to be most of your shots until you get close. So personally, this plane just sucks. It's not that good. It is not special at all, and really, this plane is just a pretty terrible event vehicle. I'm going to put it in C tier, as I feel like some people do make SU-25s work, but at the end of the day, don't expect much from this plane. Our next plane is going to be the Kfir C.2. Now this plane is pretty cool. It has 2 AIM-9Gs and it is a very strong plane. It is a delta wing, so you have the amazing, well, AOA and turn rate, maneuverability, but you struggle with retention, but still, I said this before with the Kfir C.10, Kfirs are some of the best delta wings in the game, and my personal favorite. They are very strong, they have a very, very high energy, high power, and good engine, so this plane is very fun to fly. 11.7 though is the main problem. You are very high in BR, and that really just kills the plane, and come on guys, 11.7 for a Kfir C.2 is just way too high in BR, and I don't see this plane being flown out a lot. It's usually just a premium variant, so this plane will probably be going into B tier, as the BR is just way too bad. Our next plane is going to be the F100F, and this plane, well, it was the last crafting event plane, and if you guys have been around for a while in War Thunder, you know that crafting events absolutely suck, and I've been spending hours and hours for an F100. Now, F100s, I don't want to dust them or anything, they're not that bad. This plane is okay. You have 4 NNEs, you have a gun with tons of ammo, easy to aim, but still not very beginner-friendly plane. It does take some know-how to fly, and overall, you know, you are very fast, good engine, but it is still a little bit bricky, and a lot of the times you will find yourself struggling to keep up with other planes. I think this plane is not bad. Definitely, I think I'd put it in a B tier, but still, this plane would not probably go any higher, as terrible event vehicle. F100, seriously? It's a fat bus. Next plane is the LA-174, and yes, while this is more so a copy and paste, I think this is still a very cool plane as an event vehicle. It's one of the most rare planes in War Thunder, and it's been around 2 years since I've seen an LA-174. This plane is pretty similar to the LA-15. It is slightly lighter, but compresses more. Still, though, a very, very good plane. A very strong engine, insane maneuverability. It's a really big rat. I wouldn't say it's really, you know, ME-163 or a PI sort of rat, but still very fun to play. Your guns, you know, they're a little bit hard to aim, but you definitely got enough rounds to kill some people, and very, very strong plane in 8.0. I definitely recommend flying the LA-15 if you don't have this plane. A very fun plane to play. Honestly, this is probably an S tier plane for me. I'm going to put it above the F-14. Obviously, it's not better in flight performance, but for its BR, a very good plane. Next plane is the Mirage 2000 CS4, and this, another copy and paste, once again. This plane is pretty similar to the CS5, just has different countermeasures, a little bit less actually, but still, the Mirage 2K flight model is amazing. It is very good when it comes to speed, especially on the deck. This plane is very fast. Only problem is you don't get Fox 3s, hence why you're 12.3. You have 4 missiles, the 2 530Ds and the 2 Magic 2s, so you can definitely get kills. 530Ds are not bad at all. The thing is, you know, still 4 missiles, not a lot, and you're going to struggle with dogfighting people, especially in up tiers. Still though, this plane is very good. You know, the Mirage 2000 in its own environment, its own BR, some of the best dogfighters in the game. Besides the F-16, it is basically top 3 at its BR, so definitely a very strong plane, but the missile kit is the main factor that makes this plane hard to fly. I'm going to give it probably a high A tier. It could be low S tier, but yes. Next plane is going to be the FJ4B. Now this plane is just pretty mid. The FJ4B is nothing too special in War Thunder. It is an event plane with 4 AIM-9Bs and some pretty decent guns. Easy to aim, damage is alright. The thing is, you're just a worse saver. You don't have the best flight performance. 8.7, same BR as the F86 F2 and the MiG-17. I think a plane like this should definitely be moved down to 8.3 because it is not that strong. It doesn't turn the best. Turn is not bad. You know, the retention is also not bad. The speed is not bad. But it's just mid in general, and it's not very good to fly. There's a texture variant as well, so overall, not too much to say. It's just a mid plane. Your missiles, though, are going to help you get kills as you have 4 of them, but really not the best plane for 8.7, but not that bad either. B tier as well. Next plane is going to be the Tornado IDS MFG. Oh boy. This plane was introduced in Apex Predators update with the F-16, MiG-29, and Tornado, and this plane is just not that great. You know, introducing a Tornado as an event vehicle is very stupid, I think. They introduced it at the same time when they added Tornado to the game, so in my personal opinion, why is this thing even an event vehicle? It's just a terrible choice, and terrible flat model, big brick, 2 inland L's, a gun that cannot get kills with. Yeah, prepare to crash a lot when you fly this plane. This thing is going straight to D tier. Well, you know, yeah, D tier is about right. Okay, our next plane is going to be the MiG-23 MF, and this plane has gotten a lot better throughout the years. It used to be very bad in the matchmaker, but nowadays, because of BR changes, I think this plane is actually pretty decent. Yes, it is very overshadowed by the MiG-23 ML and the ML variants. However, it is not bad at all. It does have a really strong engine, and also has a pretty good flight model. You know, the swinging aircraft are very easy to dogfight in, and you have a lot of power in a pretty light airplane. You have a pretty good missile kit, 6 missiles, 4 are R-60Ms, and 2 of them can be R-23Rs or the R-23Ts. Definitely take the 23Ts, as they are long-range IR missiles, and the 23Rs, they are terrible. So I think this plane is, you know, a little bit lacking in attention. It is actually pretty decent nowadays in the matchmaker, so I'm going to definitely put it probably in a high A tier. Okay, our next plane is going to be the P-59A, and this plane is a pretty funny little plane. Now, keep in mind that this plane is at jet at 5.7, so you have a huge energy advantage over most of the planes. This thing is an absolute beast. A lot of people say it can outturn Zeros, which not necessarily true, but this plane does have a very good maneuverability as well as top speed, so it is all you can ask for. As long as you are keeping your speed, you are very strong. You can go into dogfights with props and easily outturn them as well, so just a very easy plane to fly, very OP, and I think a very fun plane, so I'm gonna put it definitely probably in S tier. Okay, next plane is gonna be the Buccaneer S1. Yeah, no, F tier. This plane has no flares. No, it doesn't. Has no countermeasures, no flares, no missiles, no gun. Good luck getting kills in ARB. Alright, next plane is going to be the F4F early, and interestingly enough, this plane is the F4F late, pretty similar. Has Agile Eagle. It has the F4E flight model. It's actually slightly lighter, and a 4 89J, so not a bad starting loadout. The only problem is you have no countermeasures, which for a 10.7 plane is a severe issue, and I really think if you're at 10.7 and you have no countermeasures, you're not getting anything done. F4Fs are already struggling, and this plane is gonna struggle even more, so I'm sorry. It's not that bad in flight performance, but not having countermeasures is a huge issue. D tier, you go. Our next plane is going to be the ME-262A2A, and this plane is on the worst end of the ME-262 variants. The thing is, you're 6.7, and at this BR, you can definitely capitalize on players who do not know what they're doing. You have a lot of players in props. You also have a lot of players who are still learning subsonic jets. They're at their 7.0 planes, 7.3 planes, and they're still learning. In the hands of a competent pilot, you can definitely make it work, as the BR is pretty low, but at the end of the day, you're a 262. Your flight performance is not going to be good at all. You're not fast. You don't have good agility. You don't have the best retention. You're overall just a pretty easy kill, and you're just prey to most of the jets you will face in an up tier. It's just not very fun to fly. You can make it work, but I don't see this plane being that good. Your firepower, 2 MK108s, is also lacking compared to some of the other 262s. For example, the 262A1U1, which has 6 cannons. This plane only has 2, and they're very hard to aim. Although, yes, they are very high damaging. Still, I don't think this plane is that good, and one of the worst 262s in the game. I think you could definitely make it work, so I'm going to put it in C tier. But otherwise, if it was any higher in BR, yeah, this thing's going straight to D or F. Next plane is going to be the Jaguar E, and I've talked about the same thing in the Jaguar IS. This plane heavily struggles when it comes down to engine power and retention. Usually, when you come down to a plane that has good AOA, like the Delta Wings, MiG-21s for example, and Kfirs, they also bleed a lot of speed because they sacrifice speed to turn well. The thing is, they can make the speed back up with their strong engines. Kfir and MiG-21 have very, very good engines for their BR. The problem here is Jaguar E also bleeds a lot of speed, but it does not have strong engines. The engines are really, really weak. You cannot produce any thrust, and you have terrible acceleration and terrible top-end speed, so just a very bad plane when it comes down to overall flight model. I don't think it's actually that bad. The only problem is you're definitely going to struggle in, 1vx situations. In a 1v1, you can definitely make it work, especially if you know what you're doing, but it's just not really reliable. I don't want to call it bad. It's obviously not as bad as a F4F or, a Tornado, but it's just not the greatest either. Your loadout, though, is pretty good. 2 Magic 1s, which are definitely viable at 10.7. The BR is pretty good, pretty forgivable, so I do think the plane like this is definitely worth a relatively high rating. I'm going to probably give it a B tier. Alright, our last plane, but definitely not least, is the BI, and for those of you who know, you know, this plane is an absolute monster. It is the rattiest plane in the game. Honestly, probably more ratty than the ME-163. This plane is extremely maneuverable. It's really, really hard to hit as it is massively tiny, and also has an insane amount of thrust, as it is a rocket-powered plane. The plane is extremely fun to use, super good at dogfighting people, but if people know who you are, yeah, they're not going to dogfight you. If they can run, then you're not going to kill them, but once again, if you can catch them, they are cooked. So this plane is overall very, very fun to fly. It is, though, very expensive, so you don't see them that often. Very rare plane, but definitely super, super ratty and annoying to deal with. I think this plane is definitely worth an S tier. Alright guys, the final tier list is in front of you guys right now. Thank you all for watching the video. I haven't posted in a long time just because, I'm sick, a lot of stuff, busy stuff with, school and everything. So, anyways, thank you all for watching. If you made it to the end, thank you for your support. Please join the Discord down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.